Hey, how's it going? I'm Chris with PearsonCopy.com, and today I'm going to be breaking down an email from the brand Ariat as a part of my 100 emails and 100-day breakdown challenge. This email today, as far as I understand, I believe this is a welcome email, so I'm going to break it down with that context in mind. Ariat does sell all over the world, I believe, so this is the U.S. version or the U.S. region or North American region of their welcome email that I've seen. As of the time of this recording, this is the one they send out. And so I'll break that down with that context in mind. As a part of this breakdown, I want you to maybe take notes and just kind of keep notes on what you see and what you hear in these breakdowns, so you can use those in your own brand to make more sales with email. So yeah, with that being said, I'll go ahead and dive into this breakdown. We'll start with the subject line, like always. You're part of the family now. So this "you're part of the family now" is pretty standard. It's a different version of the same, like welcome to family, welcome to the team, welcome to the brand, welcome to brand name. That's pretty standard, pretty straightforward. So I don't have any issues with that. I think it's a great different way of saying it. It's a different way of saying welcome to the family. It also uses the word "you," so it's second person. It's actually addressing the person or the reader or the subscriber, which I think is great. It's also got a time duration on it now. Right now, in this moment, you've become a part of the family because you're reading this email, or you're about to click on it and read this. So now you're a part of the family. Um, and so I think those are two pieces of the subject line I really like. It uses the word "you," and it also has a time limit on it or time duration on it of like right now. That may not seem like a huge deal, but this type of stuff, being specific with your language, matters a ton. So that's subject line. Those are the thoughts I have on it. This is something you could probably do with yours. Is you're part of the family now, you're a part of brand now, or it's a little more direct and it's a little more like a command as opposed to inviting. So keep that in mind. This feels more like you're a part of it, so you have to be a part of it, as opposed to welcome in, invite them in. It's more of a direct command or a direct proclamation, even to say, hey, this is what's going on, this is what's happening. So keep that in mind. The next thing, from email, from name. Ariat sticks with the brand, just says Ariat, and the from email is a orders@email.ariat.com. Two things here. One, again, I think honestly, this email, there's a piece down here. I'm going to go down here and skip some stuff. Oops, come on back. So this thing called Ariat Life. This right here, this little piece, I think it's called bearing the lead. When you look at like traditional sales letters and stuff, if you want to be to control, you go in, read the whole sales letter, and find the lead inside the existing sales letter. It's called bearing the lead. And you can pull out an idea from the existing sales letter and use that as a lead and potentially be to control. I think Ariat buries their lead with this email here with this Ariat Life. The thing that I wanted to see is this guy here in the picture, probably stock image. They probably take photos, something like that. Something that's not. This is a brand shoot, right? This is a brand image, brand guy, the dog, etc. This guy made me think, hey, what's the story behind Ariat? Like this looks like maybe target customer, target audience, one of their avatars, right? What's this guy's story? Like, what is the story behind Ariat? Like, how am I going to emotionally connect, and why should I care to buy from you instead of other brands that sell similar things? And so that's the thing that I want to keep in mind when we're looking at these from names and from emails is when it comes from the founder of Ariat, or maybe a CEO, or somebody that's in the upper echelon, or somebody at the company that's they're decision makers. They're actually in the company making big decisions, making big moves for the company. Um, that's the type of thing that emotionally connects with people. Is what's the story of Ariat and this guy in this picture with this dog, or the story of their ideal customer? Like, what is that story of a cowboy? And they say it here down here, and I'm kind of jumping around, but a cowboy, show jumper, outdoor enthusiast, or outdoor worker, we've got you covered. What are those people's stories? And can we share that in this email? I think they missed the mark when it comes to that, because this Ariat Life, when I got to the bottom of the email, I was like, that's the lead. That right there should be the story in this email, is tell me the story about the Ariat Life and what that's like. So, and that just reminded me with the from name and the from email, this is why it's so important to make it feel like it's from a real person instead of a big brand, is people are going to connect emotionally. They may not buy right now with that, but they will buy later, and they buy over time. So lifetime value of the customer goes up, and the time they spend with your brand goes up, which means more trust is built, which means they're going to spend more money as they go. And when things come up to like, hey, I need a shirt, hat, jeans, boots, etc., they're going to think of your brand as opposed to something else because of that connection. So emails and copy and what you and your sales message go way beyond the asset or the medium that it's in. It can carry into people's lives, into their living rooms, into their barns, into their trucks, into their cars, into their job. It follows them around and it sticks in their brain. And that's why it's so important to make this stuff feel like it's from a real person. Even if you want to stick with just the brand, making this come from a founder or something could help when it comes to opens, clicks, and sales. So with that rant out of the way, we're going to keep going down. So right here at the top, don't miss out. Your 10% off offer is waiting for you. And then also shop now, use code, and there's a string of characters, 4, 8, 12, look like 16, maybe less. I don't know. I'm not counting well. It's 4, it's 3, 4. Anyway, we're not gonna do math, but anyway, it's a long string of characters. And So I'd imagine if you click on anything and it tags you and cookies you, et cetera, and you go and it auto applies to your cart. So something I would say here is this right here seems intimidating. So even I don't, if I was a customer and didn't know that it tagged me, I would have to write this code down, keep it, save it, copy it, paste it, et cetera. It just adds way more friction to the process, even though it's auto added later. Because I would be confident that it's auto added if I click through and started shopping, added something to the cart, and went, they would auto add the 10% off. But if they don't, having to keep track of this code, even when you're on your phone, is going to be a huge deal. It's going to be a huge friction point. So I'd say reduce this down to something like Ariat, welcome Ariat, or welcome 10, or something like that. And there's different technical ways you can limit this to one per email address, so it's not going to get run off and people are going to just copy and paste and use it over and over again. So there's ways you can limit that. And so with that being said, I would say that's something here. I really like this at the top. It's just first thing, here's your code, go spend it, right? And then this menu acts as like a CTA button of like, hey, here's the brand, here's the main categories, men, women, kids. Click on one of those and you can go start shopping. So within the first, like the top header here, you've got everything you need for like a direct offer of go and buy. If they pass up this, maybe they miss this or they don't read it, they scroll down. You've got your introductory header image here of this guy, this dog, and them having a good time wherever they're sitting or standing, right? And we're so glad you're here. So you've got the feel of the Ariat brand. You've got the, hey, we're acknowledging that you're here and we're glad you're here. That's pretty great. That's pretty standard. That works for me. And then we get to this paragraph here where I kind of brought in earlier about the from name and from email. Whether you're a cowboy, show jumper, outdoor enthusiast, or outdoor worker, we've got you covered. We obsess over every detail to bring you cutting edge products that deliver on comfort and performance. So two things. One, what's the Ariat life story again of the cowboys, show jumpers, outdoor enthusiasts, or outdoor workers? What is their story? What's a story or a collection of stories that ties them together that makes them think Ariat is the brand they need to go to? Like, what is that emotional connection? What is that emotional resonance that ties them all together? I think if you can figure out that is what your lead and your story of this email from the founder should be from, is the founder speaking to that principle or that value or that emotional resonance. Them speaking to that is going to do a lot more for you than if you just say, hey, we're so glad you're here. And here's your coupon code, go buy something. I'm just biased and more of a fan of storytelling and emotional connection as I am to just transactional uses of emails, right? So, and the second thing with this is, and this is probably a branding and compliance type thing, but like the second piece of this, so this is calling out their ideal avatar, right? Their ideal customer, and then also a feature benefit stack or feature benefit combo. We obsess over every detail to bring you cutting edge products. There's your feature, cutting edge products, and then deliver on comfort and performance, which is going to be essentially they're trying to push that as a benefit, but it's more of a feature. Comfort and performance are definitely features because they don't. And this is the thing about that I have with this and why I'm mentioning is cutting edge products. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Cutting edge products can mean anything to me, can mean anything to anybody reading this. It's very vague, very high level. I would get more specific and maybe find some mechanisms or the main mechanism that makes Ariat different. Is it the quality of product? Okay, great. If it's quality, then why is it quality? Like what makes it more quality than anything else, right? That getting more specific on that piece is going to give you a better feature. And then the benefit's going to say, hey, because of this quality, you experience better comfort, which means less issues when you're wearing the clothes. Like whatever the issues may be wearing a pair of jeans or boots. With boots, maybe you get less blisters because it's higher quality leather, breaks in a lot easier and it forms to your foot. That's way more specific than saying cutting edge products and comfort and performance, right? So that right here, I think the use of this, the feature benefit combo, is correct. I think they could get more specific on this and make this a better feature benefit, and even add a dimensionalization onto it and say, hey, this is how it's going to affect your life. Here's the big reason why, or the big mechanism, or the big promise that Ariat has for you, and that's what they could have put here in this section. So. With that being said, we'll keep moving down. General, just stop the latest and greatest with photos and pictures, and it's a link, so that's fine. We can't wait for you to get to know us. You can start by checking out our go-to staples and all new favorites. We know you'll love them just as much as we do. Here's something here. I like the fact that they're trying to make a connection. They really are. Say, hey, we can't wait for you to get to know us. Here's our favorites, our best sellers, etc., whatever. But the thing here is, we can't wait for you to know us. I haven't really found anything in here that makes me want to get to know you, like, just to be frank. And so this is the thing that I like about Ariat, is I like their brand and I really like their aesthetic and I really like their approach to the market. But this right here, we can't wait to give you to know us. Like, give me something to attach to. And that's one of the things that brands can do better, that I see a lot, is the stories we tell aren't just stories for story's sake. And it's not to make sales, it's to make a connection. You make that connection with the customer, that connection is going to last. And the more often you remind them of that connection and create a positive association because of that connection, it opens up the door to actually have a relationship with somebody, right? And if you can keep pushing positive associations into those connections, or into that connection, you're going to get more often and more likely that they're going to buy from you over and over and over again. They're going to stick around with your brand. And so that's something with we can't wait for you to get to know us is like, okay, cool, but like give me something to hold on to. If it's just your product and it's just a transaction, that's where my relationship stops with you. And I don't want that to happen. I want to get to know you more. And that's why I think the story in this email of like the Ariat life or the founder saying, hey, if you're a cowboy out, let's say a cowboy, show jumper, outdoor enthusiast, outdoor worker, they all have a story that they resonate with. And if you tell that story, it's going to create that like, hey, I feel like I know Ariat because they know me, right? You talk about the customer, you talk to the customer, you talk of the customer, and it gets them to connect with the brand. And then you can start by checking out our go-to staples, which that's a general CTA, right? Go check out our products, go check out go shop our stuff, and you can see what we have to offer. And then moving on down to finish out the email here. Enough about us. Tell us more about you. Update your preferences. So I think Ariat's trying. They're making an attempt to connect with you, but updating your preference isn't really having the customer tell you much about them. It's like, I've gotten one email from you. I don't know if I want more. I don't know if I signed up by mistake. I don't know if they're trying to filter here. I don't know if they're trying to tag a segment or whatever, but they're just offering a preference to go change your stuff, and you've only gotten one email. I think it's a little too early to ask for that. In this section, you could probably go with something like, now that you know what kind of products we offer and who we're for, reply to this email and tell us who you are and what you're about. Are you a cowboy, show jumper, outdoor worker, outdoor enthusiast? Like, who are you? Tell us a little bit about yourself, what your job is, who you are, what you do. That type of information, when it comes in, you can actually tag and segment people based on that. And it helps with deliverability if you're getting replies. So if they can get a reply back, which with this from email, I'd imagine it is a subdomain, email.ariat.com. So they're sending deliverability is probably an issue. Might be trying to improve that. Doing something like this, instead of saying update your preferences, say reply to this email and tell us who you are, and ask a question like, what kind of job do you do, or how do you use our products, or who are you shopping for? It's just something to get a reply is going to help with deliverability, right? So yeah, there's that. And then finally, but the last few pieces here, the four squares here again, Ariat Life. I think there's some gold here that they're not mining that they could use. Talking to their ideal customers, local retailers. I think that's super important because Ariat sells not just in their own stores but also across other retailers. I believe they sell exclusively in other retailers, so I could be wrong there. But product registration. So this is probably with warranty and stuff and things like that. If this is a welcome email and they haven't purchased anything yet, a product registration button doesn't really make sense here. If they've already purchased, then yeah, sure. And then email preferences. They just asked for you to update your preferences. This button here doesn't really need to be here, right? So what I'm looking at here is what can I get rid of and what can I add, right? What can I get rid of? So remove the things we don't need, and then also what I have, can I expand it? Can I make it better? Can I show more of it? Because ultimately what I'm trying to do with this first email is connect. I want to connect with them. And I think Ariat is on the cusp of actually creating a really good connection with their customers with this email. We just have a few things we could tweak to make that happen. And then finally, your footer information. So you have your social, and you have your footer information, your footer text with your coupons, terms and services, agreements, and things like that. So with that being said, that's Ariat's breakdown. This, as I said, is I believe a welcome email from their North American region send. It could be for just America or the US. Not really sure, but this is the email I got when I signed up. And I hope, ultimately, I hope that this breakdown helped you find some insights and some just notes on what you can do to help you make more sales with your emails for your brand. And if you want to see more videos, go check out my YouTube channel. Otherwise, I hope this helped, and I will see you around.